Jacob Gedleyihlekisa Zuma is a South African politician who served as the fourth president of South Africa from 2009 to 2018. He is also referred to by his initials JZ and clan names Nkamalala and Misholoza. Zuma was a former anti-apartheid activist, member of Umkhonto we Sizwe, and president of the African National Congress, ANC, from 2007 to 2017. Zuma was born in the rural region of Nkandla, which is now part of the KwaZulu-Natal province and the center of Zuma's support base. He joined the ANC at the age of 17 in 1959 and spent 10 years in Robben Island prison as a political prisoner. He went into exile in 1975 and was ultimately appointed head of the ANC's Intelligence Department. After the ANC was unbanned in 1990, he quickly rose through the party's national leadership and became Deputy Secretary General in 1991, National Chairperson in 1994, and Deputy President in 1997. He was the Deputy President of South Africa from 1999 to 2005 under President Thabo Mbeki, Nelson Mandela's successor. Mbeki dismissed Zuma on June 14, 2005 after Zuma's financial advisor, Shabar Sheikh, was convicted of making corrupt payments to Zuma in connection with the arms deal. Zuma was charged with corruption and was also acquitted on rape charges in the highly publicized 2006 trial. He managed to retain the support of a left-wing coalition inside the ANC, which allowed him to remove Mbeki as ANC president in December 2007 at the ANC's Polokwane elective conference. Zuma was elected President of South Africa in the 2009 general election and took office on May 9. The criminal charges against him were formally withdrawn the same week. As president, he launched the R4 trillion National Infrastructure Plan and signed a controversial nuclear power deal with the Russian government, which was blocked by the Western Cape High Court in 2017. As a former member of the South African Communist Party, he increasingly relied on left-wing populist rhetoric, and in his 2017 State of the Nation address he announced a new policy of radical economic transformation. Few of the attendant policy initiatives were implemented before the end of his presidency, but they included land expropriation without compensation, free higher education, a series of attempted structural reforms in key sectors involving restrictions on foreign ownership, and more stringent black economic empowerment requirements. In the international arena, Zuma emphasized South-South cooperation and economic diplomacy. The admission of South Africa to the BRICS grouping has been described as a major triumph for Zuma, and he has been praised for his HIV/AIDS policy. Zuma's presidency was beset by controversy, especially during his second term. In 2014, the public protector found that Zuma had improperly benefited from state expenditure on upgrades to his Nkandla homestead, and in 2016, the Constitutional Court ruled that Zuma had failed to uphold the Constitution, leading to calls for his resignation and a failed impeachment attempt in the National Assembly. By early 2016, there were also widespread allegations that were investigated by the Zondo Commission between 2018 and 2021. They claimed the Gupta family had acquired immense corrupt influence over Zuma's administration that amounted to state capture. Several weeks after Deputy President Cyril Ramaphosa was elected to succeed Zuma as ANC president in December 2017, the ANC National Executive Committee recalled Zuma. After a fifth vote of no confidence in Parliament, he resigned on February 14, 2018 and was replaced by Ramaphosa the next day. Shortly after his resignation on March 16, 2018, the National Prosecuting Authority announced that Zuma faced prosecution on corruption charges relating to the 1999 arms deal. He pleaded not guilty on May 26, 2021, but the trial was not scheduled to take place until early 2023. In July 2021, Zuma was imprisoned in Estcourt, KwaZulu-Natal, for contempt of court for a separate legal matter. After testifying for less than 3 days at the Zondo Commission on state capture allegations, he refused to return, violating summons and a constitutional court order compelling his testimony. On June 29, 2021, the Constitutional Court sentenced him to 15 months imprisonment. He was arrested on July 7 and released on medical parole 2 months later on September 5. The High Court rescinded his parole on December 15. The parole was declared unlawful by the Supreme Court of Appeal, but it allowed the Department of Correctional Services to consider whether to deduct the time spent under it from his sentence. On August 11, 2023, the Department of Correctional Services granted Zuma remission of his 15-month sentence. Zuma was born in Gedleyihlekisa, Natal Province, now part of the province of KwaZulu-Natal, and often moved around Natal and the suburbs of Durban as a child. His father, Gedleyihlekisa, was a policeman who died when Zuma was 5, and his mother, Gezwa, was a domestic worker. His middle name, Gedleyihlekisa, means one who smiles while causing you harm in Zulu. He did not receive formal schooling. He has at least 3 brothers, Michael, Joseph, and Kenya, and at least 1 sister, Vilafi. Michael Zuma was employed by Kumbula Property Services, a construction company, and in 2011 admitted to using his elder brother Jacob's political status to secure a government contract for the company in exchange for a homestead in Gedleyihlekisa. Zuma began engaging in anti-apartheid politics at an early age and joined the ANC in 1959. He became an active member of Umkhonto we Sizwe in 1962, 2 years after the ANC was banned. That year, he was arrested with a group of 45 recruits near Zeerust in Western Transvaal, currently part of the Northwest Province. Zuma was convicted of conspiring to overthrow the apartheid government and was sentenced to 10 years imprisonment, which he served on Robben Island with Nelson Mandela and other notable ANC leaders also imprisoned during that time. While imprisoned, Zuma was a referee for Prisoners Association football games, organized by the prisoners' own governing body, Umkhonto FA. After his release from prison, Zuma re-established ANC underground structures in Natal. He left South Africa in 1975 and was initially based in Swaziland, where he met Thabo Mbeki. In Mozambique, he dealt with the arrival of thousands of exiles seeking military training in the wake of the 1976 Soweto uprising. He became a full member of the ANC National Executive Committee in 1977, and a member of the ANC's Politico-Military Council when it was formed in 1983. He was also Deputy Chief Representative of the ANC in Mozambique, a post he occupied until the signing of the Committee Accord between the Mozambican and South African governments in 1984. After the accord was signed, he was appointed as ANC Chief Representative in Mozambique. In December 1986, the South African government requested that Mozambican authorities expel 6 senior members of the ANC, including Zuma. He was forced to leave Mozambique in January 1987, so he moved to the ANC headquarters in Lusaka, Zambia, where he was appointed head of the ANC's underground structures, and shortly afterward was named chief of the Intelligence Department. Zuma was also a member of the South African Communist Party, SACP. He joined in 1963, served briefly on the party's Politburo, and left in 1990. After the ANC was unbanned in February 1990, Zuma returned to South Africa on March 21 to begin the negotiations process. He was one of the first ANC leaders to return to South Africa for negotiations. Later that year, he was elected unopposed as the ANC Southern Natal chairperson. Zuma, as a Zulu, became known as a leading peace broker in Natal during the political violence of this period that was concentrated in that province, and arose largely from conflict between nationalist supporters of the then Xhosa-dominated ANC and supporters of the Zulu Nationalist Inkatha Freedom Party, IFP. He is also credited with having expanded the ANC's Zulu support base in Natal. At the ANC's July 1991 elective conference, Zuma stood for the post of ANC Secretary-General and lost to Cyril Ramaphosa, but was elected Deputy Secretary-General, comfortably beating Alfred Enzo and Popo Molf in a vote. In the 1994 general election, South Africa's first democratic election, Zuma stood as the ANC's candidate for the premiership of his newly constituted home province, KwaZulu-Natal. The ANC rose to power in the elections, with Mandela elected president and Mbeki his deputy, but lost KwaZulu-Natal to the IFP. Zuma became a member of the Executive Council, MEC, for Economic Affairs and Tourism in KwaZulu-Natal. In December 1994, he was elected ANC provincial chairperson for KwaZulu-Natal, and at the ANC's 1994 elective conference he was elected national chairperson, beating Paulo Jordan and Jeff Radeby by a large margin. He held both positions until 1997, having been re-elected provincial chairperson in 1996. Zuma was elected deputy president of the ANC at the party's 50th national conference in Mafeking in December 1997, and was subsequently appointed deputy president of South Africa in June 1999, pursuant to the 1999 general election. Zuma served under newly elected President Mbeki and was the chief mediator in the Burundi peace process, in which he worked with Ugandan President Yoweri Museveni, who chaired the Great Lakes Regional Initiative, a grouping of regional presidents overseeing the peace process in Burundi. Mbeki and Zuma were both re-elected in the 2004 general election, but on June 14, 2005, Mbeki removed Zuma from his post as deputy president following the conviction of Zuma's associate, Shabar Sheikh, for making underhanded payments to Zuma in relation to the arms deal. Mbeki told a joint sitting of parliament that in the interest of the honorable deputy president, the government, our young democratic system and our country, it would be best to release the Honorable Jacob Zuma from his responsibilities. Zuma also resigned as a member of parliament. His successor as deputy president of South Africa was Phumzile Mlambo-Ngcuka, Ngcuka's wife. Mlambo-Ngcuka had been Minister of Minerals and Energy since 1999. Her appointment was booed publicly at ANC rallies by Zuma supporters, including at a Women's Day event in Utrecht, KwaZulu-Natal. The ANC won the national election on April 22, 2009 by a slightly diminished majority of 65.9%, with Zuma having campaigned under the theme Continuity and Change. His appointment was formalised by Parliament on May 6, and he was sworn in as President of South Africa on May 9, 2009. In a press conference on December 5, 2013, Zuma announced the death of Nelson Mandela, South Africa's first democratically elected president. The memorial took place on December 10, 2013 at FNB Stadium near Soweto. Despite an anyone but Zuma campaign in the run-up to the ANC's 53rd National Conference, Zuma was re-elected ANC president on December 18, 2012, beating Deputy President Kgalema Motlanthe by a large margin. Although in 2008 he had said that he would prefer to serve only one term as president, Zuma became the ANC's sole presidential candidate in the 2014 national election. The ANC retained its majority in the national election, and on May 21, 2014, the National Assembly elected Zuma to a second term as president. Once Ramaphosa replaced Zuma as ANC president, there was growing pressure for the latter to resign from the national presidency. On February 6, 2018, Zuma's annual State of the Nation address, scheduled for February 8, was postponed indefinitely to create room for establishing a much more conducive political atmosphere. The following week, Ramaphosa and Zuma spent almost 5 days in talks. On December 12, when it became clear that the negotiations had failed, the ANC National Executive Committee convened an emergency meeting near Pretoria, and, after nearly 10 hours of debate, decided that Zuma should be recalled by the party if he did not resign voluntarily. Ramaphosa and another senior official reportedly drove to Zuma's home just after midnight to deliver the ultimatum, but Zuma refused, insisting on a 3-month notice period or transition period before leaving office. On December 13, the National Executive Committee publicly announced its intention to recall Zuma. As a party political body, it formally lacked the authority to remove sitting presidents, though it could instruct the ANC caucus, which controlled parliament, to remove Zuma through a motion of no confidence if he did not resign at its request. At dawn on 14 February in a live televised address just before 11 p.m., Zuma announced his immediate resignation. In his speech, he said that he accepted the ANC's decision but had asked its leadership to articulate my transgressions and the reason for its immediate instruction that I vacate office. He claimed that he had earlier had an agreement with the party that if he resigned it would be after a period of transition. He said, "Make no mistake, no leader should stay beyond the time determined by the people they serve. No life should be lost in my name, and also the ANC should never be divided in my name. I have therefore come to the decision to resign as President of the Republic with immediate effect. Even though I disagree with the decision of the leadership of my organization, I have always been a disciplined member of the ANC. As I leave, I will continue to serve the people of South Africa as well as the ANC, the organization I have served all my life. I will dedicate all of my energy to work towards the attainment of the policies of our organization, in particular the radical economic transformation agenda." The week after his resignation, Zuma attended a farewell cocktail party in his honor, hosted by Ramaphosa at Tunhuis in Cape Town and attended by other members of cabinet. Although former presidents are invited to all State of the Nation addresses, Zuma did not attend Ramaphosa's addresses in 2018, 2019, or 2020. In December 2023, Zuma announced that, while planning to remain a lifelong member of the ANC, he would not be campaigning for the ANC in the 2024 South African general election, and would instead be voting for a newly formed party, Umkhonto we Sizwe. He stated that I cannot and will not campaign for the ANC of current President Cyril Ramaphosa, Zuma's successor, and that to do so would be a betrayal. He is a polygamist, in line with Zulu tradition, and at a 2006 rally in KwaZulu-Natal, for example, he was frequently photographed wearing traditional Zulu attire at cultural events, and he appears less comfortable speaking in English than in his native Zulu, in which he is known for his linguistic flair. Zuma started the foundation to send children to school and build houses for people living in poverty. The former chairperson of the foundation is Dudu Mayani, before she resigned from her memberships on the boards of directors of these and other bodies because she was declared a delinquent director for life in May 2020 by the Pretoria High Court. Nelson Mandela Award for Outstanding Leadership from the Medical University of South Africa, awarded in Washington, D.C. 1998. During a visit to the United Kingdom in 2010, Jacob Zuma was made an honorary Knight Grand Cross of the Order of the Bath. Imo Merit Award, the highest award in the Imo state of Nigeria, is conferred on those who have made a difference in the development of their communities. October 15, 2017. Nigeria's Imo state unveiled a statue of Jacob Zuma on October 15, 2017. Zuma was invested with a chieftaincy title, that of the Okiaga of Imo, during his trip to the Kingdom of East Samuel Ohiri of Imo on October 15, 2017. Thank you for watching this video.